Jaguars head coach Gus Bradley. What is the etiquette, Coach, in the preseason when it comes to blitzing or not blitzing?
Well, I think it's, each team just is trying to make sure that they identify who they are. And I know, just speaking on our behalf, we're trying to evaluate some players, but also give the guys an idea of who we are defensively and what we're going to, really sink our teeth into. So, we have a mixture of both, but not at the expense of, being able to evaluate some players and what their skill set is. And sometimes that requires blitzing, and sometimes it requires just zone dropping or playing man. So whatever you can do to help with the evaluation process is how we go about it.
Do you talk to the coaches ahead of time, the opposing coach, just to get an idea of, hey, what are we doing in this game? How hard are we going at it? Are we trying to win the game? Is this just a glorified practice? Is there any communication along those lines?
I have not. So, just again, speaking on our behalf, I've not had any conversation other than right before the game.
Talking to Gus Bradley, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The big story for the team this year has been the arrival of quarterback Blake Bortles with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. You've been very committed to the idea that Chad Henne will start week 1. Has that changed? Has that wavered in any way?
No, we feel really strong about Chad. And I guess how we go about it, Mike, is I just think that there's, we're a young team. We've got 4 players over the age of 30, and we're on this race to maturity. We're trying to get our team to be an experienced, fast team. And I believe our speed has improved. It's just the experience that, we're trying to grow as well. And, that's why we're trying to get as many young guys in there to build up on the experience part. Now, if you look solely at the quarterback spot, we believe that Chad has got, a lot of experience playing, and I believe he's faster now being a year under the, in our system. And, with Blake, he's doing some really good things, and we're just trying to continue to build his body of work up and try to build that experience part.
Is this a full-year commitment to Henne, or is it just we're going to take it a week at a time, a month at a time, 4 games at a time, whatever?
Well, again, we just felt really strong about Chad, and we hope it's a year commitment. That means that Chad's doing really well and is staying injury-free. So he just is really – we've seen a difference in his mindset coming into OTA's training camp, and our coaches have seen it. Our players have felt it. So we have pretty strong convictions about Chad.
Whoever the quarterback is going to have to throw the ball to wide receivers. And your depth chart has been banged up. There's some young guys. Who's standing out to you right now as somebody who's going to make a contribution, a real contribution in the passing game this season?
Well, obviously, Cecil Shorts is back now, so we're going to gain him this week, and he's been very productive for us, so we have a lot of confidence in him. And then with the younger players, Marquise Lee has really, had a good game last week, and you're seeing his development in practice. But, probably a surprise is Alan Hearns, free agent that we picked up, done a nice job. When we go 3 wides this week, he'll be the starter. He's just, I think, being in the system at the University of Miami, that, Jed has some familiarity with him, that it's been a nice transition for him. And he's really shown up well. Allen Robinson, we hope to get him back maybe sometime next week, and we're excited about him as well.
Talking to Gus Bradley, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You also have, technically on the roster, one of the great young receivers in the NFL, and Justin Blackmon. He's suspended. You've left the door open for him to return if and when he's reinstated. Do you have any sense of when he will be back?
No, we don't. Just if trying to follow the rules with the NFL as far as communication, we're, getting reports, here and there that he's doing well. I know he had a little bit of difficulty earlier, but, it's difficult not being able to openly communicate with them. But, so we're kind of going off what we hear.
Hard Knocks was on last night, Atlanta Falcons this year. Do you guys pay any attention to that?
I have not. I know, our PR guys watched it, and, I think Dave Caldwell's seen a couple, episodes of it, but I have not had the opportunity to watch it yet.
Would you do it? Would you want to have the cameras and the microphones in camp?
Well, if it's, the NFL calls you and says, we pick you, you don't have a choice. So, we would try to make the most of it. And, I know that, you talk to some teams and they speak highly about it. I think, where we're at, it worked out well this year for us just because of our youth and experience that we have that, we're in the environment that we're in right now.
How differently do you think you would be if you had that microphone on you at all times throughout training camp?
Well, you would hope not too different. You'd hope that, whether you're mic'd up or not, you really stay the same. So, I think, it's a challenge. When I was out in Seattle, we had cameras around us, and for a show. So you grow accustomed to it. You grow accustomed to walking down the stairs, and there's a camera on you, and you walk in the meeting room. And I think you just learn to, kind of ignore it, and you just go about your business.
Last night's episode featured a little bit of a scuffle during a joint practice between the Falcons and the Texans. What's your thought on fights in practice? We've seen several of them this year throughout the league.
Well, I think that at times it can happen, and it's very competitive, and guys are competing out there, and football's can be a game of emotion, and you got to learn to control your emotions. We understand it can happen. We look to see more is are there 10 other guys getting him out of that position, and that's what we're looking for, because when you're in that situation, sometimes the mindset, you're so worked up, you're so fired up that you need to count on your teammates to pull you out of it. And, but hopefully, that poise comes and, through training camp, and that doesn't carry over on the games.
He's Jaguars head coach Gus Bradley. Toby Gerhart, your new arrival at running back. Fantasy owners everywhere want to know, is he going to be a workhorse, or are you going to use a committee?
Well, it'll be more committee, but obviously Toby will be our starter going in. But, we feel good about, what the other running backs have to offer. Jordan Thomas and Denard Robinson got good speed, both really fast. And Storm Johnson is kind of a mix between Toby and the other two guys. So we feel like we have an assortment. We just want to utilize their strengths. But, that's Toby's strength, is he has a chance, I think, as the more carries he gets, the stronger he becomes and can have a tendency to wear down, a defense. And but he's got to have enough carries to do that. You don't see many running backs at this stage, where they're getting over 20 carries. And, we'll probably be in that boat as well, where, if Toby got 14, 15 carries, and then the rest is by committee.
What's a successful season in 2014 for the Jaguars?
Well, we really strive on getting better. And I know that seems like a cliche, Mike, but, that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to, it's hard in the NFL. I think sometimes college coaches are seen as developmental coaches, and sometimes that's taken away in the NFL because so many guys, it's almost a revolving door. But our challenge is for our coaches to have that mindset to develop players and really try to get them to be the best that they can be. Now, where that takes us, I don't know. But we just believe that if we can get everybody to be their best, we trust the results will come. And that's been more our focus. And I believe that we're seeing, really good improvement from our team because of that mindset.
Finally, and most importantly, do you ever get asked whether you think you look like Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad? We were discussing that here around the room. Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe? I'm looking at your picture now. Maybe I'd go with Steve Austin over Bryan Cranston. You ever get that?
No, I haven't. But we kind of live in our own little world here, so I don't know. Maybe someone has mentioned that before, but I have not heard that till today.
You've got the 300-foot video screens at each end of the stadium. What was your reaction the first time you saw your face up on that?
Well, I think just going out there, we had a scrimmage, and it's awesome. And we took the approach. We told our players, go ahead and look at the screens and take it all in. And, because they're awesome. And, they're so bright, and it's almost can be a distraction. So, we're trying to get enough practice in this so the players get a feel for that. So when we do have our first home game, it becomes the norm. So, but they are great. I know our fans love it. And it just feels like a different stadium because of those two Jumbotrons as an addition.
Well, we wish you all the best this season as you go forward in your second. Is it your second? It's your second year with the Jacksonville
second
Jaguars.
Year.
Yeah. Well, all the best for the Jaguars this year, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Mike. Take care.
All right. There is Gus Bradley.